Early in my jiu-jitsu career, my passing was a complete mess. I felt like I was just jumping side to side, pushing, pulling, kind of spastically running around with no hope. I felt like I was constantly getting swept and my energy was just all over the place. One thing I noticed about guys that were really good guard passers is they seemed to have more of a system approach. Their passing was intentional rather than just crazy motions. When I discovered the headquarters passing system, everything changed. I felt like my passing was a little bit more intentional. I actually had a strategy when I was passing the guard, and I felt like I was leading the dance rather than reacting. So if you feel like your passing is random and chaotic, this headquarters passing system is going to be for you. When passing headquarters, I think your entry is probably the most important part of the pass. We're going to look at two. The first one we're going to look at is a standard headquarters entry. When I step into headquarters, I need to make sure I do two things. My right leg needs to jam up Max's hip. And the reason for this is I don't want Max to put a De La Riva hook in. So if my leg's too far back, this hook comes in easy. If my knee is further forward and he tries to put this hook in, it's very tough. The problem with this is Max can put his foot on my hip and push me away and now put the hook back in. So I have to do a few things. I have to stuff this leg as I jam the hip. And that's where my hands come into play. My left hand's gonna step and I'm gonna stuff Max's shin as I step over. My right foot steps to jam the hip and my right hand is gonna go to Max's hip with my fingers pointed out. If you notice here, I'm sitting low, kind of like I'm squatting underneath a bar. A great stress test for this is Max is gonna try to put a hook in, he can't. He's gonna try to push me away with the foot, he can't. And finally, he's gonna try to elevate me. If my butt was up here like this, Max could put my hands to the floor, which would be a big problem. So my butt's gonna be nice and low, so as Max tries to kick me up, it's really difficult. So again, head this way. Our entry is very simple. When I start to enter into headquarters, I make the approach. What I don't wanna do is start passing when my partner already has different looks on me. We can do that, but it's much easier to start from a little bit of distance. Here, hands tight, low base. I'm gonna stuff and step through. Notice I jam the hips. My butt is low, my chest is up. I'm not up on my toes right now, I'm down here. Elbow's gonna be tight to my hip and I'm stuffing. So this is our first headquarters entry. I know what you're thinking, not all jiu-jitsu happens from here. Sometimes my partner's gonna be able to get some form of entanglement and I have to address it. Another entry we have is a De La Riva entry to headquarters. If my partner has a standard De La Riva guard where he's controlling my heel, he has the De La Riva hook and a post on my hip, I'm gonna start by addressing the De La Riva hook. With my right hand, I'm gonna put my thumb here in the knee. My left hand just stays on his shin. Now, as I push Max's knee down, my leg extends. If I just do one or the other, hold tight, Max, it's not gonna work. So I push as I straighten my leg and I pop the hook free. Once the De La Riva hook comes out, I stuff and I step, sitting my butt low to the ground. Now, my right hand's gonna turn, fingers out on the hip, elbow tight, and we stop just like this. So again, our standard entry into headquarters, either from space or De La Riva. If we're in De La Riva, I go hands on, just here. Right hand, thumb post on the knee. Don't use a monkey grip here because you can slide your hand off when your partner gets sweaty. So we put our thumb on the knee. As I extend my leg, I push, and now the hook comes free. I'm gonna push down, step over. My butt gets low, and finally, my right hand goes on the hip. So now we've entered into headquarters, and we're able to start getting the passing going. The first position that I like to look at when we talk about headquarters is the staple. And the staple is a very important position when we get here because it's gonna allow us to make different decisions whether we knee cut through, back step, or we start to move into side smash. When I enter into headquarters the same way, first thing I'm doing is stapling to my left. As I jump to my left, my right knee is stapling Max's knee to the floor. What I like to do here, turn you this way, Max. I like to make sure that my knee is a couple inches below Max's actual leg, and I have weight on my knee, but mostly down here on my foot, on the floor. The reason for this is I'm not fully committed right now. It's an easy thing for me to stand up. It's an easy thing for me to drive forward, or it's an easy thing for me to walk to the side. This gives me options. If my knee is low on the floor like this already, my only option is to really go forward. And now if Max starts making an underhook, I can find myself in some trouble. So I like first to ensure that my knee is here, stapling Max's leg to the floor. You'll notice my right hand is still on the hip and my left hand is on the knee. My left foot is wide, kind of on the line of Max's hip. So I don't need it up here where he's going to start reaching and grabbing, and I don't need it so far back. Just right here is good enough. Chest is low, Max's knee is out by my shoulder, so I'm in this position. A question that I get all the time on the staple is, what about the knee shield? People have struggles when people put the knee shield in here. They feel like they can't go forward. That's all going to come down to your elbow discipline. So when I'm here at the beginning of my entry and I step in, you'll notice my elbow is tight to my hip already. So when I staple, even if Max decides to bring a knee shield in, I'm winning the inside position. And now it's an easy thing to drop my shoulder in because I have the inside position. Where a lot of people struggle with this is they forget to put the hand on the hip. So they have a hand on the knee. And now when I go into staple, Max's knee shield comes in, and now I have to address this. As opposed to starting in good position. Now I staple, and now I get started. That's why your entry to headquarters is so important. You need to make sure you kill the hip first so he can't make the knee shield in. So this is going to be our staple position, and most of our passes start from here. Our first pass when we start getting into headquarters is a knee cut. In the knee cut, really guys, you should pass most people with this. I'm not talking it's going to be your only way to pass the guard, but for the most part, people training, if you get this down, this is a very easy pass you can hit on people. So I come out in headquarters, same way. I staple the same way. My first pass is a knee cut. What I like to do is use my right hand like I'm dusting off Max's rash guard. I don't look right now to make a big, like wide pummel. I want to punch my right hand and I want to start putting my ribs to Max's chest. At the same time, my head is going to go to the floor. My knee's going to drop and my left hand is going to gather Max's elbow up like this. So I have an underhook, an overhook, and now I start to step, moving Max's head away. I slide my right knee free and I keep my hips off the floor. When my hips are down, I have no pressure on Max at all. So I make sure that my hips are up and off the floor. To finish, I need to make sure that I pin him down. I don't stop the position here. My left knee is going to chase to Max's head, and my left hand makes a cross face. I bring everything nice and tight. I want my butt low, my toes together like this, not out wide, and I want here, chest to chest pressure. I will also put my ear down to my partner's shoulder just to ensure that he doesn't make a frame across my face like this. So the more pressure that I have here, the better. You'll also notice Max's elbow is exposed here. I don't want to sit like this and turn where Max is going to take his elbow to his hip and put me back in guard very quickly, right? So as I turn everything out, I've exposed the near elbow. Look how I'm going to turn everything down. Now when I lock my hands, it's a little bit trickier to take that elbow down for Max to get his elbow in. So again, the pass is very simple. We come out, headquarters, staple. Make sure you take a pause at your staple, and now we punch the underhook, we put our head down, our chest goes to our partner's ribs. Now I step, I start to slide everything through, I turn my hips down, and I finish in a very strong pin. Okay, one more time, this angle, we come out, nice headquarters entry, stuff, step. As I get to my staple, I punch this underhook. The reason I can do this is because my hand's already on the hip. Even if Max is posting or framing, my underhook can win. My head goes down to the floor, I step, I start to slide everything through. Now as I turn my hips down, we finish in a very strong pin using a knee cut from our headquarters position. Sometimes when you come out to headquarters pass and you go into a knee cut, your partner beats you on the underhook. And so you need to make sure that you have good countermeasures here so you can have full confidence in your knee cut. The reason that I have no problem from here spamming this knee cut, sending it as hard as I can every time, is because I know what Max's counter is going to be. And if I know what Max's counter is going to be, I have a counter to the counter, okay? So I'm here, hip and knee, I'm in the staple. Sometimes we start to make our knee cut and our partner makes an underhook. And there are two different options that we can look at here. The first one is when my knee is not yet on the floor. If Max makes an underhook from here and my knee's still off the floor, it's honestly a really easy thing, guys. I just take my right hand, I re-pummel, and I go right into the knee cut again. It's an easy option. The trickier option is when I try to make the knee cut, my knee is on the floor and Max is able to pummel to the inside. So sometimes we do this and our partner beats us. You'll notice my hands are on the floor now, my knee is on the floor. It's a big problem. What I can't do from here is try to just hug Max's neck and sit through. If I try to do that, Max is going to throw his underhook and he's going to take my back. So it's going to be a big problem if I try to go forward on that knee cut. So instead, what I need to do in this situation is back step. Since my foot is still trapped here, I'm just going to hop to the other side. It'll look like this. As I make the underhook, Max beats me. Look how my hands are on the floor. I hug the neck and I step my hips to the other side. Now, we're in a pretty solid position. I have a cross face and I have an anchor hand. So even if Max is trying to fight me from here, I'm pretty good at holding him because my shoulder can drive to the chin. Now, as I start to take my hand to the far leg, I'm going to scoop my hips away from Max like this. 1, 2. And now my left foot is going to push on Max's knee joint. As I push everything, my right foot comes free. I'm going to take my left hand and block the hip and turn into standard side control. So I use the back step as means to counter Max's underhook. So again, head that way for me. We come out, same position, headquarters, staple. As I make my knee cut, look how Max is going to beat me. I messed up. He took the underhook. I hug the neck, I fire my hips. Look how I sit here, making sure that I have good base. From this position, when I'm ready, my left hand goes to the far knee, and I start to separate my hips from Max, like this. Look how my hips go away. Now, my left foot starts to push on Max's knee. As I push everything, my foot can come free. My left hand releases and goes to the floor. I like to go to the floor just so guys don't shoot a single leg here. When I go to the floor, it makes it harder for him to turn. Now, I turn to my knees, and I finish in top side control. You can use the exact same position from the back step to get back into your knee cut. So here, as I go, Max beats me on the underhook. When I hug the neck, I back step. Look how I'm sitting. What I can do from here is also post everything up. And now I can regain my underhook, come all the way to the other side, and regain a knee cut the same way because I have an underhook right there. So it's a really good way for you to have confidence in your knee cut. Because even if Max gives me a strong counter with an underhook, even bumping me in the hips to drive me forward, I just backstep and go back into a knee cut or into a backstep pass. Sometimes when we try to enter into headquarters and we move to the staple, my partner gives me a really good look. They make a strong knee shield, they make strong frames, and I can't go forward this way anymore. So it looks like this. We come out, same way, headquarters, staple. But this time, look how tight Max is here. I'm in this position and I feel like there's no way that I can go forward anymore. And this will happen. When guys have good defense, they make this knee and elbow connection, make a good frame. It's really tough to deal with. In these situations, I look to side smash. And what I'm trying to do is walk everything to my right. So I'm not only going to go back to headquarters, I'm actually going to take it all the way to my right. It's going to look like this. My left hand goes under Max's knee. And I start to walk my hips to the right towards the wall. 1, 2, and now look, 3. So you'll notice this looks a little bit different than the headquarters pass we're used to. Usually, when we talk about headquarters, I like my feet to be flat here, like I'm sitting underneath a bar squatting. When I side smash, I walk and I get up on my toes. So you'll notice here I'm up on my toes and my weight is actually coming more forward onto Max. I play this a few different ways and it's really going to depend on the reaction my partner gives me. When I move into side smash, Max can do a few different things. One is he can kind of just relax under here and stay tight to himself. In these instances, I kind of sit everything back. If Max is really pushing on me, trying to drive me away from him, he wants to sit me back. These situations, I actually take my body forward. And what I like to do is post on the armpits or the shoulder If I'm able to, I'll throat post as well, and I'll drive everything forward, making Max carry my weight. The danger here is if Max relaxes and now starts kicking me in the butt, he can elevate me over the top. That can be a problem. So if I'm here with a resisting partner, push away, and Max just goes limp, relaxes, I take my weight back. So I need to control myself here. I feel Max pushing me away, I drive in. I feel Max relax, I sit back. I know that seems a little counterintuitive, but you have to make sure you do that. The last thing that you want is your head coming all the way over your partner's, him elevating you to your hands, and then entering your legs. So I get to this position here, and I just play what my partner's giving me. The first pass that I like to do from here is a simple hip switch. If my partner's a little bit more relaxed, he's not pushing me super strong, he's trying to keep everything tight so I don't pass his guard. I take my left hand and I reach under his thigh. And now I'm going to put my left knee on the floor next to Max's hip, and I'm going to sit everything out here. As soon as I pass the guard, a big key is to lower your head. If I keep my head and hips, my hand here, he's going to bring his legs up, and he's going to start playing this reverse triangle game. So I put my hands on the hips, and I put my head low. Once my head comes here, if Max tries to raise up, it's really tough. Now I scoot everything back, staying inside the elbows, and I like to move into this north-south pin just to hold them and make sure I secure my pass. So, head that way, please. Again, we came out headquarters. I go into the staple. Max is doing a good job closing everything off. I'm going to side smash here. Look how I sit everything nice and low now. I'm up on my toes. My knees are pinched. I play the game, and I almost camp here to see what Max is giving me. If Max starts pushing me away, I'm walking into him, driving, getting good pressure. He relaxes, I relax. He pushes, I push. He relaxes, I relax. We play this game. When it's time to go, notice I have this knee across. I don't want Max's knee open like this. So every time he opens it, I push it across and drive my weight. Now, my left hand reaches across Max's hip. Here, I just want this. As I do that, my left knee is going to go to the floor, and I'm going to sit to my left hip like this. Here. My head lowers, and I scoot everything back. Final step, turn to my knees, and secure a north-south pin. One question that I get asked a lot on this is, what if he tries to carry me with this leg? So if I'm inside smash and I sit and Max is looking to elevate me with this, it's not a huge problem. And the reason is I'm already sitting to this side. So even if Max tries to elevate here, look how my leg can just step free. Since my hips are on the floor and I have this elbow anchored, it's not an issue as it would be if it was this butterfly hook, okay? So from the top, we're here. We enter headquarters, staple. As I side smash, I get everything low, push this knee across. My left hand goes here, down on the thigh, and now I sit. One. As soon as I sit, my head gets low, I scoot everything back, I turn to my knees, and I finish in a very tight position, ready to hold my partner from the side smash. Sometimes from this side smash position, our partner gives us such a strong push that they're actually opening themselves up to a better pass for us. You see guys like KNE Duarte do this really, really well from the side smash. So I come out here, boom. I'm in this position, and now what Max is doing is giving very good reactions. A lot of times what guys will do here is reach around the leg. And so now he has this wedge in between us. He's got a good frame, and he's controlling my leg. And this can be really dangerous if I'm not careful. Where you see a lot of guys mess up here is their partner will kick them in the butt, put them to their hands, pummel that foot, and now start putting you into different situations where they can entangle your legs. And the last thing that I want to do from here is try to run, because I'm just going to get my leg broken. So here, when I notice that Max is hooking around my leg this way, and I'm inside smash, the first thing that I'm going to do is put some pressure forward. The second thing is I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to pummel it underneath Max's arm and just post it on the ground. So you'll see it's here. I can go fist or hand. I just need an underhook. And now as Max is trying to push me away, all I'm going to do is elevate my hips, take my left hand and tap his knee. So I come up, tap, and drop. I'm going to cross face, connect my hands since I already have this underhook. I start to walk, slide my knee, and I finish in a very strong high mount, okay? So I use this to just pop the knee free. Again, we come out in the side smash. As Max is hooking in on my leg, man, this is a problem. He's trying to off-balance me back and forth. So I put my weight forward, take my right hand, punch the mat. Now my hips come up, I tap the knee, and look, I just drop. Just here. I don't worry about the foot because I have the underhook. Now I just cross face. I start walking my hand, spider walk up, slide the knees, and I finish in a strong mounted position. Okay? From the other angle here, we come out. 1, 2. I put pressure forward. Max starts hooking in on my leg. Uh-oh, there's a problem. He's entered on my legs. My right hand punches the floor. Left hand just goes to the knee. Hips high and stop. Now, once my hips come down, I make a cross face, start walking, and I slide my knees up high under the elbows, finishing in the mounted position. One thing from this side smash that you'll notice is it all plays together. And this all plays together actually in our full headquarters system. So it's a pretty cool thing. You'll see from the side smash, I get different reactions out of Max. If Max gives me no action, he's just kind of limp here. My left hand reaches, I sit through like we just did. That's 1. If Max gives me strong reaction, he's pushing and hooking my leg. Punch the floor, pike up, 2. If Max gives me another strong reaction, which is pushing and trying to drive this knee open, look, I can't get it shut, 3. We go back. So it's like a 1, 2, 3 punch, okay? I have a little combo that I like to do here and just read my partner. 1, 2. And now Max decides how he gets his guard pass. He keeps everything closed, hip switch. Keeps everything tight, look, punch, pike through. He gets everything open, knee cut, just like before. It's a really solid way to pass somebody's guard. Again, kind of letting him pick how he gets his guard passed. Guys, if you like this style of video and you want to see my complete system on triangle submissions, you can click right here. We also have a free website where you can see a bunch of different techniques that we film every week. You can go to coreprobjj.com or click right here.